Yes, this is Tumsani Lutango. I'm right here outside Sandton City. Just across the road is Mandela Square. And today we are interviewing an amazing entrepreneur. This guy, Zareef Minty, is one of the most successful young entrepreneurs in South Africa. I hope you enjoy the interview. This is Tumsani right here. You know, this is Elevated Life, where we elevate your mind to elevate your life. Okay, we elevate your mind to elevate your life. Look, today I have with me this guy, man. This is Zareef Minty. This guy is one of the guys that I don't care where you're from, anywhere in this world, bruh. If you want to know about entrepreneurship, you want to know about success, this is the guy to learn from. Okay, listen, he is an author. Yes, he has studied law. Okay. And not only that, man, he's got people like DJ Spoo behind him. And then he's got, so one of the things is he's one of the key ambassadors of South African entrepreneurship. All right, and then listen to this. This is what Entrepreneur Magazine says about him. It says that he's named one of the top 200 young South Africans by the Mail and Guardian. All right, so this guy knows what he's talking about. Zareef, how are you, man?
Sandy, thanks for having me, bro.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, man. Yeah, so look, man, to the people out there, yes, I mentioned like a brief intro. Can you just let the people out there just know who you are, what you're all about?
Sure. So I am a young author. I'm a best-selling author in South Africa. I'm also Forbes 30 under 30. So I just made the Forbes 30 under 30 list last year, which is a massive thing. You know, congratulations to everyone else who made the list in Africa. I've made the Mail and Guardian top 200 young South Africans list. We've also ended up winning One Day Leader Season 4. So I was on SABC 1 and we ended up winning that platform. I'm saying we because, you know, Team Zareef did really, really well. We were trending on Twitter for the last 3 weeks of the show. And also, I mean, I'm also a motivational speaker as well. I'm a lawyer by profession, but I've just created the best platform out there. It's called Generational Wealth Education. That's going to inspire and impact the lives of thousands and millions of people all around the world.
Of course, yes. That's one of the things I actually wanted to talk to you about. So, okay, look, I just wanted to say, basically, one of the things about this show is we want to teach you guys in terms of this thing is a journey, man. You know, did you all of a sudden become successful without, like, you were born and then you were successful?
No, never. I mean, so this is the one mistake that a lot of people make, especially because of social media and the whole concept of, the superficial life. So everyone's watching people get like super nice cars and big houses. And then the next day it's a new post about a new car and a new house. People always assume that it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight, you know. I mean, I can speak on my own personal journey. I've been at it since the age of 15. I started up my first business at the age of 15. I started up a clothing company, and that developed into the next business and the next business. And then I somehow ended up, developing a few other businesses, getting to a media company. Then the media company got onto Forbes. Now we've opened up a generational platform. It's a long process and it's not easy. You know, a lot of people think that it's this constant upgraft. It actually isn't. There's a lot of failures. There's a lot of bad partners. There's a lot of mistakes as well. There's a lot of bad financial decisions. But it all forms part of that process of becoming an entrepreneur. When you actually reach a level where you've experienced all of these things, you're actually at the best position for you to develop yourself very quickly.
Now, okay, one of the things that you said about that, in terms of, the journey. Now, can you, just to let people out there know that, part of the journey is there's failure. You know what I mean? Can you just tell us a story in terms of when was the time that you fell flat on your face and you failed, and how you felt about it, and then how you got yourself back up?
Look, I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. I was 22 at the stage, 21 actually. I was finishing up at university, but while I was actually doing my law degree, I was still pushing this big mining deal. So I met this guy from the DRC, and we were looking at investing with these guys from, which country was it? It was a European country, one of your European countries. And we were just about to complete the deal. It was in Amsterdam. They were going to actually do a huge deal between us and them on a huge mine. And my commission on it, or my profit margin, was something like 22.9 million. Now, I did the due diligence. I was 21 at the stage. Did the due diligence. I did all the documents. I actually paid a lot of money to get the due diligence done, because you can't obviously do it yourself. You have to get like a financial team.
You have to,
I paid for everything. On the day, my business partner from the DRC didn't pitch up to the meeting. he completely faked the whole thing,
Wow.
the whole agreement. So I went through work of like 3 or 4 months for absolutely nothing.
Wow.
I sat there
Yo.
with the guys who flew in from Amsterdam, and I was trying to call my business partner, like, where are you? Where are you? He didn't answer his phone at all. Didn't get a call, didn't get a message, nothing. So I had to literally sit down in front of them and tell them, listen, I'm so sorry, you know, we won't be able to do this deal. They said, don't ever contact me again. I went home that day at 21. I was still at university. I was writing an exam the next day. I went home, jumped in my bed. I slept the whole day. I didn't even worry about the exam the next day. I slept the whole day. I promised myself I'm never going to put myself through that position again. I'm never going to make the mistake of a bad partner or allow someone else to have control over a transaction.
Yeah.
So I think all of those things were just valuable lessons, you know. And I mean, with failure comes great success. That happened. A few years later, we made a lot of money with the media company. We're on Forbes. And it's looking up, you know what I'm saying? So it's really good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, you see, guys, just a lesson from that. He didn't just stay knocked down, you know, get depressed and then quit. He came back up, you know. So that's the lesson right there. So after you got back up, obviously you had more success.
Yeah, I mean, I think it obviously opened up the platform for me to make less mistakes.
Yes.
So, I mean, that was definitely a mistake on my part. I should have controlled that completely.
Yes.
You know, I should have taken full control of that. But because I didn't, I mean, moving forward, I learned that, you know, you can't leave these, these instances to other business partners. And yeah, I mean, the less mistakes you make, the better you do when it comes to becoming more successful.
Yes.
Because at the same time, mistakes are very important, but you should learn from other people's failures as well. And that's what I've learned as well. So I sat down, spoke to a lot of mentors and asked them, like, what have you actually experienced in your life? What's the challenges you've experienced and how have you overcome them? And I've actually used that as like a personal experience, even though I haven't been through it. So it cuts down the number of mistakes you'll make moving forward. And before you know it, you're actually a full-blown entrepreneur that can make a lot of money.
Exactly, yeah. Now, one of the things you said over there is mentorship. That's actually one of the things that you mentioned in your book as well. Guys, you need to get that book, Empire. Go get it, man. That's a brilliant, brilliant book. Yeah, so that's one of the things that you mentioned is the whole thing of mentorship. How important is mentorship? And what about also the people out there that are thinking, man, I know this thing. I know this entrepreneurship thing. I can do it myself. Yeah. You know, what do you say to a person like that?
So I had that mindset about a year and a half or 2 years ago. I thought I knew everything. I thought I've been through every single mistake. I've learned every single lesson. I'm ready for entrepreneurship. Then you meet a mentor who just takes you to the next level, where you sit down and you think to yourself, like, the level you are at, yes, you are sufficient for that level, but there's a whole level above that, and that level, you have no idea how it works.
Exactly.
So mentorship is very important, firstly. I don't believe that, even in my book, I spoke about mentorship. I don't believe you should have one mentor. I believe you should have various number of mentors, obviously dependent on the different industry or aspect of your life. So if, for example, you have a relationship with a person you love, you should have a love mentor. You should have a relationship mentor. If you have someone, if you believe strong in different religions, or you have a spiritual background behind you, you should find a spiritual mentor, and you should get someone to assist you in that regard. Same thing with business. You should have a business mentor, and you should have various different mentors for different aspects of your life. The one mistake people make is that they go to their business mentor to help them with relationship issues or with spiritual issues, and that's never helpful. You always end up getting some form of a confusion in there. But besides that, I also think it's very important that you sit down and you listen until you reach the age of 65. Listen to people. Listen, because you learn so much when people speak, especially people who have done well in their lives. There's always a new business opportunity or a new lesson or something that you can learn from when someone speaks to you about something. So just, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Work on that equation.
Okay. Yeah, look, guys, that's really important. And also, like I said, go check it out on that book, Empire. But look, Zareef, what if I'm one of these people that say, look, man, in your book, Empire, you talk about opportunities also. Opportunities. Like, I mean, look at the economy. I mean, how can I have opportunities in this economy, man? Like, what if I'm a person that thinks like that? There are no opportunities in this economy. What if I'm a person that thinks like that?
So I just came back from Paris. I was there a day and a half ago.
Yes.
I don't know how to emphasize this more, okay? But living in South Africa and even in Africa, you are more privileged than people who live in Europe and the States.
Wow.
Why? Because there's opportunities everywhere you go. Our country has so much of challenges and problems, which means as an entrepreneur, you can fill in those gaps with solutions.
Wow.
When you go to Paris and US, they're busy speaking about things in relation to artificial intelligence and looking at new technology. We're not even on that level. We need to still fix our basic issues in South Africa. There's so much opportunities in South South Africa.
Yes.
So if you are a young person who feels like, look, there's no opportunities for me here, it just comes down to actually getting more knowledge. That's the
Right.
most important thing.
Yes, that's
A lot of people make that mistake and think that, you know, it's not your fault, but at the same time, you should go out there and develop yourself. That's why self-development and going to seminars, learning new skills, you know, coding is something that's massive in China and in India as well.
Yes.
You know, they spend millions, the government spends millions and billions on coding. We can code at least another 500,000, you know, so not 500,000, but 5,000 entrepreneurs here, and we create a whole new economy in South Africa, you know. So it's just about knowledge, about if you are a young person, go and find out what industries are not in South Africa yet, you know. Coding is something that's not big enough in South Africa yet. Artificial intelligence isn't big in South Africa. You know, augmented reality isn't big in South Africa. Or IoTs, it's not even in South Africa. People don't even know what you're speaking about. So open up your mindset, go and learn knowledge, you know, go onto YouTube, learn these different things, bring it in here, develop a business. Before you know it, you'll be a multi-billionaire, honestly, in rands, you know. And it's very, very possible, because once you bring something new into South Africa, it changes the whole game completely.
Yeah, that's so true, because one of the things was, in my work, in my line of work, I've been working with people from India, people from the States. These are companies from there. So guys, remember, with opportunities, it's not just the country that you're living in. Because of the internet, you have opportunities all over the world, man. All right, so in terms of now networking, okay? So just by the way, in terms of going to seminars, guys, there's a lot of seminars that are actually free. The entrance is free. You can actually walk in there for free and meet like successful entrepreneurs. How awesome is that? That's actually how I met a lot of my business clients, yes. But anyways, you talk about...
no, it's very important that you're emphasizing that, you know.
Yes.
We need to encourage people to go and learn about self-development, because what you can learn in a seminar, you won't be able to learn in 4 years at a university, without a doubt. I can tell you that now.
True.
So,
yeah, that's true. Okay, so in terms of networking, one of the things you mentioned in Empire, your book. All right. So what are your tips in terms of networking, like for people out there that thinking, okay, how do I start this networking thing, going to seminars, meeting people, and making an impression?
So for me, it comes down to two very important aspects first before I speak about tips on networking.
Yes.
Number one is that you'll never be successful unless you have the ability to sell. Number two is you'll never be successful unless you have the ability to build and maintain relationships. Now, that's the main aspect of networking. If you can network, it means you have the ability to build and maintain a relationship. In business, business isn't about your product. It isn't about your quality of your product, as many people think it is. It's more about relationships among people. So if you have a good relationship with someone, they will choose you over someone who actually has a better product than you, better priced, just because of the relationship and the loyalty and the trust between the two of you. So I would honestly recommend that people learn tips on networking. Get my book. It's on generationalwealtheducation.com. I do emphasize all the tips on how to actually become the best networker out there. But I'll just give you guys a few right now. Number one is speak to every single person in the room. Many times, and it happened to me in Paris as well, they're bringing in a massive phone into South Africa, a new phone. They're going to actually be rolling it out into stores all around the country that's going to compete with Samsung and Apple. So they had a huge conference in Paris. Anyway, I spoke to a lot of people, but I somehow, in a bad way, ignored 2 or 3 people because it was so busy. I didn't get a chance to speak to them. Just to know that one person actually that I missed actually earns $1.6 million every single month. So that's about, in South African rands, 22 million rand. He earns about 20, so he makes about $250 million rand every single financial year. And I missed him because he was wearing a t-shirt and I didn't get to him on time. Normally I would though, but that's what I'm saying. You never know who's successful, who's not. Don't base it on the way someone dresses or how they look. Base it on the fact that you must go through everyone in the room. Remember, it's a pool game. You make sure you go through every single person in that room, no matter how they dress, how they look, because you just never know who's the next key to open up your next door for you.
Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, that's how we met.
That's true.
Yeah, that's how we met.
That's true.
Yeah, we were busy speaking and stuff like that. Okay, so now I want to talk about generational wealth.
Sure.
Yeah, generational wealth education. Okay. So guys, Generational Wealth Education, that's the website. Okay. So just please tell us a story in terms of how did this all start?
So I sat down in August 2018.
Yes.
I looked at the market. It's very important to always do a bit of market research.
Yes.
And I'm not going to mention names, but my competition now, I just looked at them and I thought 3 years, they've been around for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
they've done practically nothing on actually uplifting and impacting their lives. It was more of a commercial gain for them, advertising.
Yes.
So I looked at it and I thought, you have 5,000, 6,000 followers in 3 years. You don't really create an impact, maybe 3 or 4 people like your pictures,
Yes.
or 50 people at most. That's not going to create a change in South Africa when it comes to entrepreneurship.
No.
So I just thought there's a gap in the market. Let's bring in GWE. Let's teach people what they don't know. You see, the guys who own these different platforms, they have all the knowledge, but they're not willing to share. They're just willing to share small amounts of it. I thought, how about we create a platform where we not just give people the 10 or 20%, we give them the whole 100%, and let's go with it and see what happens to our South African entrepreneurs. So we want to teach them everything in relation to forex trading, coding, ESD, making use of corporates and how you can actually benefit and manipulate the market to be able to get more business from them, triple BEE coding and how to actually make sure you have a competitive advantage over your other rivals and competitors in the market. All of these things are not taught on platforms. No one wants to teach you those things because everyone wants to have the edge over you, the advantage over you. So if you remove that advantage, and we have a large number of entrepreneurs pushing out, it just changes the whole landscape of South Africa. So I'm very keen on GWE. GWE is a beautiful platform, like I said, but the most important thing is that it fills in the gap in the market where our competitors were lacking, and we're also offering the opportunity of a one-stop entrepreneur shop. So you come onto the platform, you learn courses, you read books from the best South African and African authors, best-selling authors. DJ Spoo's books are on there. We're just going to get on a few others on there as well. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki is going to come on board. My book is on there. A few other bestsellers are on there. But we also give room for you young authors. So when someone wants to go out and buy DJ Spoo's book, they also get to see a young author as well and be like, oh, let me buy his book as well. So it's the whole concept of adding the traffic to be able to develop young entrepreneurs and young authors as well. We have online courses that are also accredited as well, so it allows you for, if you don't want to stay as an entrepreneur and you want to find a job, you can always include it in your CV, and it obviously adds value in that sense. We have a career portal where we're offering jobs in Paris and Germany and England. So, I mean, our unemployment rate is high, but it doesn't mean that we should stop young people from achieving things right now. It might take us a few years to change things, but it doesn't mean you have to suffer at the moment for us to change things. Do you know what I'm saying? So we can send you over to Paris, you can be earning in euros, and that's just the whole idea behind it, is that we want to develop a South Africa where everyone's winning. We don't want certain people to win, we want everyone to win. So GW is your one-stop entrepreneur shop. We also have funding available, so entrepreneurs can fund up to 5 million rand. They can look for funding with us. So that's the whole purpose of the platform, is it's a one-stop entrepreneur shop.
Wow, that's great. Hey, that's amazing. Yeah, so I mean, GWE, Generational Wealth Education, like I say, go check out that website. Guys, and also another thing is this. There's no excuse here because these books are cheap. Like, I mean, I went and I bought a book for 150 Rand. It's about $10. I mean, that's cheap. I mean, you can go and download a book for $10 for 150 Rand.
But we also have another, function available on GWE. Just for a lot of, I mean, we do know young people, especially entrepreneurs, it's difficult to be able to have good cash flow. So we created a platform on GWE called our subscription service, where you pay $199 a month, and then you get access to all the books, all the courses. You get free tickets to events. If Robert Kiyosaki comes to South Africa, you get free tickets for that. You get free mentorship sessions. So all of that's available for $199 a month, which is, like you said, $11, $12 at most. So it's not
guys,
bad.
that's really affordable. So I mean, imagine you can get the best mentors out there for you for 199 Rand a month. Come on, guys, you know what I mean? So so that's generational wealth education. So guys, go check that out. Okay, so the other thing, the other two last questions that I wanted to ask you was about social media. Okay, so I saw that you said in your book the fact that a lot of people post a lot of personal stuff on social media, very intimate stuff and things like that, and you say they shouldn't really do that and stuff like that. So what are your tips in terms of how to use social media? I think
social media has become, I think there's a blueprint on how to become successful on social media. And unfortunately, the blueprint isn't good ethically. So people will go and rent out cars to showcase their lives, and they get followers and they grow themselves, or they'll go and stay in someone else's house and take pictures. And that's not the mindset that I want to create. I don't believe in that. I believe that social media should be used as a platform to impact the lives of young people, and should be used to impact the lives of people who are going through struggles or challenges where they don't feel like there's a different level level above them. There should be a place for it where people can sit down and say, look, this person has been through so much, but look, they got through it. I can do the same thing as well. So I believe that social media should be moved away from the whole concept of showing flashy cars and nice houses. We should move along the lines of showing, and I'm going to make a personal, I'm going to make a personal promise here and say that moving forward, every single time I fail, every single time I go through a tough moment, every single time I feel like I just want to swear like a million times, I'm going to showcase that on social media so people know how difficult it actually is being an entrepreneur. Because it's not easy, guys. Like one day you'll be sitting with 3-4 million rand in your bank account, the next day you'll be sitting in debt, and that's just how it is, you know. And you have to turn over money and cash flow and all of these things, and it really does make a difference. So I really think it's important that we encourage people to learn that it's not a superficial life. What you see mostly on social media isn't real. I'll tell you that now. I mean, I'm in the media space myself, so I can tell you now, I know for a fact most of the things that you see on social media isn't real. I believe we should keep it authentic and honest, and that's the most important thing, and help people, man. That's the whole purpose of linking up with people, is to assist people, you know. Each one teach one. That's the concept.
Yes, not just to show off and things like that. And some of these people that are showing off, by the way, guys, are in debt. Okay,
that's very true.
So
massive debt.
Yes. Yeah. So okay, the other question I wanted to ask you was about LinkedIn. So what are your thoughts on LinkedIn?
So I'm a victim of being a fool here. I jumped on LinkedIn way too late. So I missed the whole aspect of growing my business by at least 10 times. LinkedIn is the most beautiful platform for professionals and business people and entrepreneurs. Instagram is nice for an e-commerce site. Facebook is good to share stories. Twitter is good to trend. But LinkedIn is your platform for you to become very successful. You're around like-minded people. People understand the value of it. So it makes the biggest difference moving forward as well. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So any last words for our viewers?
I think the most important thing for young people is that you should never give up. That's the first thing. Never give up. You're going to fail 150 times before you succeed once. Never give up. Also understand that what you're going through, there's 600,000 people in the country going through the exact same thing right now. Sometimes we feel isolated as a young person. We're like, no one else is going through the struggles we're going through, the challenges we're going through. Everyone is. There's a lot of people that are. And you need to find support bases for you. That's the most important thing. Away from that, learn skills, guys. Go onto platforms, go onto YouTube. Learn skills. Go into GWE, Generational Wealth Education. Do all our courses. Learn how to code. Learn how to develop yourself in the BE coding. Get yourself tech certified, you know. Get yourself a BE certificate. Learn all the things that you require for you to become successful. Learn new skills every single day of your life. You know, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can learn skills on GWE. You can learn things on YouTube. I mean, most of the things on YouTube are free. You know what I'm saying?
It's free.
So I encourage you guys to go out there and learn every single day. Try to read a book every single week. People don't understand the value. You know, they underestimate the value of reading. Like even the most wealthiest people today spend most of their time reading every single day, because the whole concept of how you become wealthy is based on knowledge. It's based on your network and knowledge. That's very, very important.
Yeah, guys, as you heard, man, the man is on fire. You can hear, man. But you've got a nomination tonight.
I do. I'm actually nominated as Best South African Entrepreneur of the Year by the French Chamber of Commerce. So I'm going up against 2 other individuals. We'll just see how it goes tonight. Wow. I actually need to get me a nice tux now, so I'm waiting to get it from the tailor. And then I'm heading off tonight. So wish me all the luck.
Yes.
I'm going to need it. But yeah, like I said, every single win is a win for the family, for the platform. You know, I mean, GWE has been nominated as well. So if I win, GWE wins, which means every single person who supported the platform, who believes, who does courses on the platform, who reads books on the platforms, who supported myself as an entrepreneur, you know, any individual like that, all my mentors, it's a win for everyone. So that's what I strongly believe in. You know, we need to move away from this mindset of this is mine and this is my idea and this is what I want to do and this is my network and it's my connection. The people who do very well in life and the most successful people are the people who can sit down and say, oh, you need Robert Kiyosaki's number. Wait, I'll give it to you right now. That's a person who's successful. So I strongly believe in changing the mindset of young people, and I can only do that by leading by example. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Let's do it.
Well, thank you so much for your time, man. Awesome. The last thing, just please tell people where to follow you.
Guys, please do follow me on social media. It's at I am Zareef Minty on Instagram. I also have Facebook and Twitter, but I'm not that, you know, I don't use it that much, but it's Zareef Minty on Facebook and at Zareef SMB on Twitter. You guys can also find me on Generational Wealth Education.
Yeah.
So we're offering mentorship sessions on there. So you can go to www.generationalwealtheducation.com and get into contact with us. We'd love to work with you.
For sure. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Zareef Minty. Just go to generationalwealtheducation.com. Go check out his resources. And also, guys, listen, like he said, take opportunities, man. Go out there and network. Go out there and build your dream. Don't go and get depressed like a whole lot of people that are talking negatively about the economy. There's a lot of people out there that are making a lot of money in this economy. So go out there and make it happen.